Hello and welcome to episode 38 of our Timberborn Update 6 Folktales playthrough here in cycle 48, day 7. Last time, we put a lot of effort into trying to green up the map a little bit and add a little bit more value to most of the stuff we've been doing in terms of efficiency or just a little bit of aesthetic improvement. We've also increased our well-being score to an average of 61 across the board, which is great. Bottom district, this place down here is sitting pretty at 65, which is just about perfect. Minus the earth recultivator. That place up there, sitting at 58, so definitely could use a little bit of work. But for the most part, is looking good. We do have 31 biobeavers currently working, which is impacting the social life stats considerably. And then, of course, that place over there is entirely run by bots, and we don't really care. So there remain a few lingering issues, mostly relating to production bottlenecks up here in that place up there. And I got a comment on the previous episode that suggested we completely redo the upper district. And I read that the first time, and I said, you know what? That's completely insane to redo this in episode 38 of a 40-episode series. But then I got to think about it a little more, and you know, you take a look at the way that a lot of this stuff is situated here in our materials display. We've got 1,300 planks, 1,400 gears, full stock of metal blocks. But a lot of the just really nagging stuff has not been taken care of correctly, like bot parts. The bane of my existence every single playthrough. We don't have enough chassis, so I don't really know what's going on here. And the layout of this really does bug me, so you know what? We're going to do it. Because why not, right? Just take all of this production stuff out, completely redo it, organize storage, make it so that hopefully things are a little bit better laid out. They don't look quite so funky. And make sure before we abandon this playthrough for good after Friday's finale episode, we have something we can be proud of up here, not just a, well, you got space to put something in. So we're going to have to be careful how we do this, though, because as soon as we take out these bot part factories, we're going to run into enormous problems with maintaining our bots. We have 127 up here right now. Across the map, we have 257. That's probably about as many as we can reasonably have without improving the efficiency of our operation here. So what's probably going to need to happen is we're going to take everything out, pause the game, leave it paused until we have everything put back in, and then just let them build it all, time-lapse it, and move on from there. So I think that's probably going to be the best thing we can do. So let's hit pause, keep it paused, and talk through strategy a little bit. So the main thing that has kind of bugged me about the way this is laid out is I haven't really made good use of verticality here, with the exception of these bot part factories being stacked on top of each other. And as we've needed more space, we've kind of had to just kind of expand wherever fits, and it just does not look good. So what I'm proposing we do is take out everything, first of all, but this lower level here, where we have these smelters, we're just going to make that storage. And then everything goes on top of this next bit here, so that we can use platforms to go over the entirety of these wheels, which we can do if we put in... Oh, actually, no, we can't. I lied. Oh, well, that kind of tears that whole thing up, doesn't it? Yeah, all right, well, that's a deep subject. If I say that again, someone's going to come and send very not nice letters to my mailbox. But regardless, we're going to completely redo this whole thing anyway, even if these don't want to play nice. Man, that entire thing was based on that, but we'll go ahead. Bold choices. What's the phrase? Scared money don't make money? Well, however you want to apply that to Timberborn is how that applies to Timberborn. So this all completely comes out. Every last bit. And what we're left with here, I'm going to take these out last, if we can at all help it. What we're left with here is we still have this 4 deep space, which is good. but we are not really in a great position to fully utilize it, at least the way it was laid out. We still need a lot of metal refinement. We need those woodwork shops and everything. But the way that we lay stuff out could be substantially better. Let's also not forget to take these out. All this mess here, just completely take it out, removed, and gotten rid of. Of course, we have these things underneath here that are going to need to come out as well. So much stuff that needs to get removed. It is kind of therapeutic to see all this just disappear after all the fun that we've been having. I know I could just use the delete buildings tool. Oh, there goes that, whatever that rubble was is gone forever. But I'm going to get myself in trouble keeping deleting all this stuff. So now those aren't accessible by paths, but that's not that big of a problem. I just need to get all of these buildings out of here. And we still have these things kind of going up on top of stuff. Oh, there's bots in here that I hope can actually get out now. So I guess we'll let them get out of the way here so we don't completely screw anybody over. But now we have this kind of blankish canvas, and we can decide what it is we want to do. I really thought this was going to let me do this. But, oh wait, hold on. I was going from the wrong side. Okay, no, that still doesn't work because that's the same end result. But I think, okay, I was premature in my panicking. Of course that works. I don't know why. Anyway, so we have space for a 2-tall, like these large storages to go underneath here, and I think that is going to be the key to what we're trying to do. But for that to work, we can still use this platform space that we have in here. We just need to cover up our these things, power shafts. With the exception of a couple of these are going to have to go straight up to power everything, or we're going to have to come in from the back here. I don't know if that's what we're going to want to get to or not. But keep in mind, we do not have, what are these things called? Universal power shafts. We don't have that in the vanilla game, so we will have to kind of create a couple places in here where it can just go straight up into the bottom of what we're looking at. So let's take our large warehouses and our piles and everything, because remember, we can build on top of the piles if we have the platforms. I always call these platforms overhangs. Probably because there were side platforms in that one mod. Well, whatever the thing was called, side platforms, more platforms, whatever it was. So large piles can go on top of anything. The underground piles obviously have to go on the ground. So the space we have here that actually has, well, ground that we can utilize, we should probably also take out these upper power shafts here. We probably should be replacing these things with actual terrain, because I'm going to try not to have any industrial stuff on this side there. Yeah, I think we can make this work. Replace these with terrain the whole way through. Prioritize. Thank you, lag. Prioritize these, get put in. And then what that's going to do is that's going to afford us the opportunity to come in here and put a bunch of underground piles, which it'll actually go ahead and let me place, which is nice. This can go here, this can go here, and that can go there, that can go there, which I guess we didn't really need to worry about too much. And that's going to allow us to have all of the storage we need for pile materials close at hand. This one can be for logs. This one can be for planks. This one can be for metal blocks. And we're probably not going to need or want a huge storage for treated planks. But maybe this one will just end up being logs again. The idea being, as we have different things come in, we can kind of make them in order. Now, what we could also do next to the metal blocks is we could put in the scrap metal. That's probably the smarter thing to do. But once that gets put in place, then we can come in from the side like this and actually build directly on top of these. Nice and easy, like so. And we don't have anything here. That's because we're going to want paths to go behind them. But that will be a super easy thing to take care of. What we might end up having to do here is take our 6x1s, depending on how we want to do the power going up. Take our 6x1s and come in over the path or come in from here. But I'm guessing what's probably going to need to happen is we're going to have this bit right here, this T intersection. The cleanest, easiest way to do this is going to be to have that be a cross piece and then take advantage of our extra space here and utilize the vertical or the upward power shaft rather to just come up like so and then come into the back of this thing, which is probably given the fact that we have our metal blocks and our scrap metal here, and this is a nice 4x whatever thing here, probably going to make the most sense to just put our smelters back on top here, and we have 4 of those. We probably are okay with 4 because we're not having to make enormous quantities of stuff, but if we're taking the time to completely redo this whole thing from scratch, we might as well do it right. So what's probably going to happen... Oh, don't take care of that. What's probably going to happen is this would be a good place to put regular old lumber mills. And then as this moves back, what we have the opportunity to do here is take this downward power shaft and then pop that into the back. That way we can have this only be path up here. We can have kind of like a tiered system where we can, if we have to, build on the other side, but I'm going to really try not to. And that's going to allow us to take our 6x1s if we want to cover the front of that, or we just say, you know what, 5x1 overhangs are going to be good enough for this right here. And of course we have access to the back of all this that we're going to want here. We'll just go ahead and connect up to there. And if we're smart, we can figure out a way to get paths where they need to go. But for right now, this is probably perfectly fine. So let's take, just for now, let's take our 5x's here. You got 2, 4, 6, and then you have this extra space here. Now we're not, depending on how we want to organize these, we're probably not going to be able to have the stairs come up this way, but we can, if we choose to be smart about it, we can utilize kind of the same thing we have going on over here and just move it to the other side. Yeah, so I think we're in good shape. I know we have enough just raw materials for different stuff to kind of float this for a little bit of time without it being a huge catastrophe. But I think this is going to work. Yeah, so we got 3 of those there. That would be enough to give us 5, but we'll go for 6. So right there in the middle, right on top of where we have our scrap metal and our metal blocks, that'll work. Oh, see, now I got to click back on this. And then we have the opportunity over here, and I know we said we're going to build on top of these wheels, but we don't necessarily have to. We can come in from the other side, of course, to make that happen. I just want to see if it's possible to get this lined up a little bit cleaner without so much chaos going on. Because remember, we still have space under here that we have not used, so if we're going to put other storage underneath, we probably want to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead... okay, hold on. Got to take this up here. Okay, so that's where we're stopping there. I'm going to leave these platforms in, like I said. But we're going to have regular warehouses. I don't have room for the 2 high ones quite yet. But this will work out quite nicely here to just have little storages. Remember, we don't need to have a ton of stuff for absolutely everything, but we're definitely going to want to have as much as we can. This is going to go here and here. And then that's going to allow us to put another one in there. So we're going to need to have storage for gears. Probably most of these need to be gears. We don't need to have storage for 1,200 of them. But if we just have right here in the middle, nice and accessible. This should still be here. Yep, good to go. This come in this way, and then we've got a little bit of space for smaller storages, which I think we can go ahead and just place in here to use punch cards. So bots can have their little boosts there. And then what that also does is that allows us to continue using buildings as support for other buildings. So like I said, that gets us 5, and then we have this extra space here that will end up just being... let's go ahead and make it just a regular overhang, just because we can. We have the ability to. That'll get us our 6. So, we have 4 lumber mills, 6 smelters, and we have storage for other stuff underneath. And now we can come in. Depending on how we want to set this up, it would be very, very possible for us to come in and either remove these overhangs. Remember, we have all this space under here. We could completely rebuild, and we do have upward power shafts coming up from this side. But in this new setup here, we've got the downward power shafts that we could use to connect this guy, and then that'll transmit power all over the place. But like I said, we have this here already coming up underneath all of this. I can't point it to you. There's so much garbage on the ground. But we have these things that have just been kind of sneakily hiding here. If we were to remove some of these, like this right here is coming over from which side? Is it on the right here? Yeah. So we could easily remove this, or we could just say, you know what? Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it not stupid, if at all possible, and just try to do this the smart way. But that is going to require us put another set of little storages underneath here that we don't necessarily want to have mixed in with too much stuff. Regardless, this right here, if we fill with stuff like paper for the books, eventually we're going to use all of it, right? It just makes sense. Now we've got a space. Well, I might as well just go ahead and put book storage here. Little tiny ones. Nope, that's facing the wrong way. And then I can either put more punch cards here, or I can just have little backup storages for stuff like bot heads, bot chassis, or bot limbs, and that could be the only one we store because we have all this other stuff going on. I think that's probably the smart thing to do. Now, you might be asking, why didn't you put the gear storage, or not the gear storage, the gear manufacturers next to the lumber mills? And that is because, remember, I talked about things coming in and using the most basic materials first. This is the most basic thing you can do with a log, and all of the logs are coming in from here. This is the most basic thing you can do with metal, and all the metal's coming in from here. So the logical progression would be you want to store your stuff like your logs, which I can't show you because there's so much stuff in the way of it getting built. You put the logs in here, and then they come up and they turn into planks. And then once they turn into planks, they can be stored where the planks are, or they come down to where you're making gears. Or if we decide that we want to be super fancy with this, we have the opportunity to move these tanks out of the way, which honestly we probably should, because all the beavers are just kind of sitting here, and this is already right there. And we can actually come up underneath. This isn't how we've had this built, but I don't think it would be out of the question for us to do this. Just put in a little thing right here, and then put a staircase right there. And what that would allow us to do is then we could come in on the side here and build up on top of these water wheels, and we could have our gear storage, or gears, I always call it storage, gear production, right up, backing up to this one level up, pretty much. I think that's going to be fine. So we'll go ahead and try to make that happen here. And again, we can power it by using these things, these downward power shafts, or whatever, instead of having this mess go all over the place. We could just kind of connect everything back to back to back to back to back. But, okay, it's not going to let me place this here because it's too low. But just for illustrative purposes, that's what we'd end up doing. And we could put a bunch of stuff up here, or we say, you know what, that looks stupid, we're not going to do it. And we just get rid of it. But we do have the opportunity, if we want to be smart with how we have stuff connected, to make it happen. And it really would not be hard. All we would have to do would be, again, because of the way that these are set up, we can't just use these as a universal thing, but we can put in one of these here, then one of these here, and that would come right into the back of whatever's on top of these. And I think that's going to end up being what we want to do. So, we would just come across like this, and then give these guys, well, they have to have one more level, but I'm going to keep this intermediary here, just so we can have easier building time. 5x1s, all the way down, and then that also covers this all the way up, and we can make it nice and even. Now, we take a look at our production statistics here. It's 1.3 hours to make one plank. I know someone's already done the math, and I do not have that comment on hand, but 1.3 hours to make one plank versus 3 hours to make one gear, or one gear in, or a third of a gear in an hour, if we convert to hours. Third of a gear in an hour, 2/3 of a plank in an hour. So the math is what it is, and it always combusts my brain, and you guys who are smarter than me are like, I can't believe you can't do the math. Look, it's just the way it goes, okay? I promise you I'm trying my best. But what we'll end up doing, kind of even things out, if I push the wrong buttons here, flip this guy, and then we'll end up, just to keep things kind of even here, just do a little bit of this mess, except it's actually going to look better doing it this way because everything's going to match. So this way we end up with 8 of these lumber mills, which I didn't count and I probably should have, but I believe that's going to be enough. Then we have our gear workshops. We can continue this all the way down past this entire thing here, and it's going to look so much better than just whatever the mess was we had before. Nice and even, and because of the way this is set up, they'll be able to access pretty much everything they've been wanting to have access to prior to now, versus just making these loops and loops and loops of all sorts of nonsense over here. So we will accomplish that with the use of our little staircases. And this here probably is just going to have to change into a little bit of a dynamite adventure here. Dynamite that out, and then put our upward power shaft here. That's exactly what it was, isn't it? Yep. 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 Okay, so it's going to go down here and then have that. That's what I was trying to do. Look, do what I do, not what I say. Or say not what I do, whatever. Anyway. I promise I'm not completely insane. But this staircase here is going to allow them to build from below. And then when we actually want to get up to the top, we can utilize one of these guys here and kind of create a dual-purpose staircase. What that's going to do is allow us to have a whole lot better accessibility, depending on where you're going. And I think it looks pretty cool to line it up with this little thing right here. I know right in the middle of this is probably not going to be as nice of a look, but this does work here. And the only time they're going to need to go down is when they need to go across, which they could easily go just like that. I could have also connected on the end here, but now we know this is actually set to go. They can get in not too hard. Make sure to connect this with our straight power shafts. And then we'll put in 4 more of these gear workshops. I don't think we're going to need necessarily to have 8 of these. We can adjust if the math ends up not mathing, which is entirely possible. But I believe in my heart of hearts, this is a huge, huge improvement. If for no other reason, it's going to look better. And that cannot be overstated. So we've given them quite a lot of stuff to build already. We've taken care of the lumber mills and the gear workshops. And we've taken care of the smelters. The other stuff we still have to do is paper mills and then printing presses. So of course, paper mills take just regular old logs, which we don't currently have another storage for besides these down here. But we also have to have a good place for bot part factories. Now, what do the bot part factories use? They use gears, they use planks, they use biofuel, and they use metal blocks. I believe is all the recipe ingredients they use. We can double check that here. Yeah. So we want them to be close to metal blocks, which you got metal blocks right next to here. You've got gears right next to here. And you've got planks right next to here. All of that's going to be stored pretty much in this exact area. And of course the paper's right here as well. So these guys also have the benefit of me putting the wrong fingers on the wrong buttons. They're 2 blocks tall. So they could actually transmit power by being put right on top of here. Just like so. Right like that. And they will connect everything in a perfect fashion to the point where right here, you see where we have this straight power shaft? If we're feeling nasty, and by nasty I mean good, don't ask me, it's slang from the kids, but we have an opportunity to do that here. Pretend there's another one here, and then nice and clean like, we can just put a staircase there and they'll transmit the power between them just fine because we have this power shaft down here that we could slightly reconfigure to bring up this side and just take one of these things out and poke it up through the bottom and bring it up to connect here. Or we could say, you know what, that we don't need all that. That's nutso. And we could just have power shafts go over the top, which honestly I think would look pretty cool, but would also take away our ability to use these guys. Unless, hear me out, we put bot assemblers on top of these and then go between them, which I think would look pretty stinking cool. So I think that is what we're going to end up doing. We obviously have plenty more stuff we have to store, and the 5x1 isn't exactly the most efficient layout in terms of space possibilities for the large piles, but I think it's going to be worth in the end to have a slightly better looking and slightly better organized thing versus, oh, we have this spaghetti of paths and stairs and you have to go around this side to get to the other side and it looks super weird and it encroaches on our little nature area, versus trying to keep this all relatively compact over here and freeing up a little bit more space for our bio beavers should we choose to do that. So I think that's what we'll go with. We also, if we don't need to have extra storage over here, we probably don't have to put it there. But I think we are going to want to. I really miss the industrial piles the Iron Teeth have, because this, it's fine, but it's not really it. So what this is going to allow us to do, unless I've completely lost my mind, which I have, never mind, that's not going to work. Come on, man. See, this is how you know I don't script these, because if I had scripted these, I would have actually, you know, tested this out and like, oh, that doesn't work. I'm going to look stupid if I put that in a video. And then, well, in the words of, I believe it was Jeff Foxworthy, here's your sign. Here's your sign, folks. Not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed all the time. But if we're going to have bot stuff over here, I'll put some heads in. I'll put some chassis in. Actually, no. This can be for limbs. Then these can be for chassis over here. Or I could just say, you know what? Let's just put all of them in, but no. No, we'll do limbs on this side. And then a couple more chassis things over here. not to steal Skystorm's thunder, but if you look at this and you see, you know what, this person is insane, and this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen, please leave those comments because I care about you and I want you to be able to express your feelings. Call back to the, what episode was it where I talked about the Mike Gundy press conference? It's like, you complain to me, I'm a man, I'm 40. Well, I'm not 40, but I do like to think that I can handle criticism at least a little bit, so let me have it. If you're not satisfied with what you see here today, and you will receive a full refund on your purchase price of watching this video, which is, of course, $0. Unless you're a beard booster, in which case, well, I don't know if I can actually give you a refund on that. But regardless, I am glad that you're here, and I'm glad we can share this time together, learning, or not learning, as the case may be, exactly what does or does not make my brain tick here. But I do think I like having the access to the back here, and this does give us an opportunity to put in a couple of small tanks for stuff like biofuel, which these things are going to need to make the parts, and also for the bots to actually use to sustain themselves. So to that end, we'll put in 2 more here for the catalyst, and that should end up looking a lot better. Now, I still have not taken these out, but we probably need to pretty soon here. All that being said, we still need to put in a couple of wood workshops or printing presses. I think printing presses would go much better up here. We'll need more than 2 of them, but we also need to have enough room to put in another 4, at least, of these bot part factories. So that's the part that's a little challenging to get put in a way that doesn't look completely stupid. So I'm going to undo a decent portion of this stuff. Also, don't forget we have this power shaft intersection here that we could bring up through the floor if we felt so inclined. This being an intersection isn't really something we can replace with a vertical, but we can go right next to it. This is on top of a sluice gate. Good, that's actually saying what it's supposed to be saying. But, of course, to get this connected, I can't get distracted here. I've got to actually have this hooked into there. And I think they can build this by standing on top of the stairs here. Yeah, it doesn't say they can't reach it, but we might find out later that that is actually the case and they can't reach it. So, we have all of this in place. I know I keep talking like, shut up and play the game. I'm trying. Oh boy. Oh, I'm trying. What's that, Mr. Meeseeks or whatever? The solution to this is to just pop in a couple more of these. I will, just for the sake of our personal collective sanity, pop in another upward power shaft so we can make sure everything is connected. Up through the bottom of this. It's not likely that we're going to run out of a power connection, anything. But we are getting to the part now where this is going to be kind of ridiculous looking. Not necessarily in the best possible fun way. So under here, I wish I could get these piles to play nice. I can't, I'm not even in the right category. These piles do not want to play nice with anything on top of them unless it's got more of a gap, which I don't have access to. But since they're already here, we should be okay. Unless I decide that I want to have these things modified here. No, we'll just keep going like this. Make sure we put all of our paths in so they can get all the way down. I know they can't actually get up here. Oh, then why did I do it this way? Oh no, these should have been doubles. Well, we can solve that problem pretty easy by just putting in a staircase up here. I know it's not the most beautiful thing ever, but it will allow them to get access into that. Then put paths up on this side. Make sure this is all connected. Well, the idea is I want them to be able to build up, build down, build all around, so on and so forth. Because we still have plenty of space to occupy here. Now, putting another one of these, I know I said I needed at least 3. I'm going to try it with 3. That should work. Let's actually preset these 2 for punch cards, 1 for books. We do have one in the other district that is making books. So I think we should be okay. Remember, we've got paper here. We have the stairs here. They can get down easily, nice and quickly. That's going to work out well. This one being situated next to the stuff that actually needs... I should look at the recipe. Yeah, the chassis is the one that needs the biofuel, so that's going to be these 2 right here. And we did have a lack of those guys actually made up, so that works out well. This is going to end up being probably limbs for no other reason than just, well, we need limbs and they have to go somewhere. And then another one's going to go on top. That'll give us 4, which we're still going to need 2. But, oh, you know what? You know what I forgot is that we have the ability to put stuff underneath here. Except now I can't because I built on top of it. Well, we'll fix that. I know it's driving you guys insane, but it's fine. We're gonna get through it. I am motivated to actually have this not look like complete and utter garbage. So, oh, I deleted one too many of those. Well, they haven't built it yet, so that's fine. Alright. Bot part factory. Here, we can just build right on top of it. This one, I'm going to keep at the same level as these, and then I think we can drop it down. But this would end up being number 5. And then, remember, we don't have to keep this going all the way out. We can just make number 6 back around here. Or, depending on how we want to have this laid out, we can do something different. But that's going to go there. I got to put my 2x here. This is connected. So we're going to have extra space here. Because these are looking a little ugly. Well, that's fine. It's fine. We're just gonna roll with it. This one, I guess, could be heads for no other reason than just it has to be something. Space underneath here. This would actually be a decent spot to put a little storage. Unless we're going to have something else here, which we probably will. Yeah, that would go there. That would go nicely there. And then I don't quite have enough room to put anything else here unless I'm making a bunch of small warehouses. But I think that's probably going to be fine. Other ingredients for bots and stuff, I don't think we really need to be worried that much about. Did I not make one for heads already? No, I did. They just didn't build it. This is the part of this where I think, oh, I'm in over my head, and I overcommitted to something that I probably am not going to be able to do too much good with. But we need the storage anyway, so it'll be fine. I have the 2 little storages for punch cards over there. We might as well go ahead and just make a big storage for punch cards, big storage for books again. And then a couple more small things. What do we not have? We got paper over there, paper over here. Why not? Why not? We'll just make it work. We'll just make it work while I desperately try to justify my bad decision making. As people are going to be watching this and asking, what in the world did I get myself into? Why am I watching this, dude? So, this can go away, because I did think that was looking kind of ugly anyhow. That can go away. That can go away. And then I can come in right here. Oh, lag. Pop that guy in. This one was making heads. This one's also going to be making heads. This one is making limbs. This one is making chassis. And the next one here, which I will just mercifully put on top of platforms, is going to make limbs. But I can hear you say, you have a third one for limbs. Yes, but we probably don't need that if we're optimized a little better, which, will this be better? I don't know, but it sure is going to look nicer. But we can leave space here if we want to put in more stuff. Regardless, though, we do need to have additional assemblers, so that's what's going to go up here. We'll just have those attached like this. I know there's an extra gap there, but it's going to be just fine. We will be okay. Let's bring this out this way. Bring this out this way. Now we have to be able to come up the stairs to get to these guys, which is going to require us to make a little staircase. Fortunately, we have the opportunity here to do just that by coming up here. We could either come all the way up from the corner, or we could just come up like this. I think this is going to be the easiest way to get this done. Just put in one of these, and then we're going to have to use our platforms, probably, to get over the rest of these, or bridges, depending on how we want to have this laid out. And I know it's going to look a little funky, but we also don't necessarily have to have this little set of tanks here either. Yeah, 'cause I wish that... Man, I'm used to water beavers now, I think is the problem. Because I can get away with doing all sorts of nonsense with the platforms there. So to try and salvage my ailing brain here. Yes, okay, that will work. Good. 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 Oh, I'm so lucky that actually worked. That's going to end up being... That's going to end up, like, saving my butt here. Bring that all the way across. We'll just do this whole thing just like that. Rotate that guy. And then rotate this guy. And then what I can do... So I've got this other space here. We can turn it into more small tanks for whatever it needs to be. Probably biofuel, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay, so that's going to get us all the buildings that we got rid of replaced or increased in number. Mostly. I think that's going to be fine. So now what we get to do is we get to demolish all of this. Look at all those things that are going to be on the ground. My favorite. So all of this hideous just disaster here can go away. All of that can go away. Now I'll just start manually deleting stuff. But look at all this space on actual green ground that we have regained that we could use for the betterment of our biobeavers. Or if we absolutely have to, we can put more stuff in for our production facilities to utilize. And we can also, you know, put some other stuff up here if we need... Oh, you know what I didn't do? Oh, I didn't finish this. I got my brain discombobulated by my own insanity, and I did not manage to actually finish what I said I was going to do. So... Oh, man. I think this is going to end up being fine. Let's see, I got 2. That would give me 2 more here. That would actually come all the way around. We'll go to 5 by 1. Yep. That'll go there. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to put in the 4th printing press because I think I'm probably going to need it. Wood workshop-wise, I don't think we are consuming nearly the quantity of treated planks that we previously were. So I'm just going to have 1, also because I've got 2 of them over here. I think that's going to be fine. Remember our math here on the mines, which we are definitely not hurting for. If we go down to 9 bots, then every hour we're going to consume half of a treated plank. I'm pretty sure, yeah, half of a treated plank per hour. And this is going to make... Nope, I can't click on that. I got to click on this. This is going to make every hour... That's the wrong building. Good job. Every hour, this is going to make 1/3 of a treated plank. So it's not quite enough. Not quite enough. But I think it's going to end up being just fine, at least for the next 3 episodes. Or we could just say, you know what? Build another. Because we can. So, now we arrive at the chief problem I have foisted upon myself, which is the paper mill. Which, The only thing we need paper for now, since we are no longer building windmills, is books. 1 paper mill makes 2 sheets of paper. I wish they would just standardize either the per hour or whatever. This is really stupid math. Every 1.6 hours, they do 2 sheets of paper. This, every 1.5 hours, uses 1 sheet of paper. I have 4 printing presses, so the general math would suggest I need 2 paper mills. The way these are set up with the doorway on the middle of the long side absolutely infuriates me. But what can I do? The answer is nothing. I can do nothing about this. So the only option I have is to just, you know, accept that this is my fate and this is how I have to have stuff go. So we'll just end up putting this on top of a set of platforms. And we'll just have this whole thing set up like so. And that's going to have to be how it goes. I almost had this situated correctly. And remember, this is all connected here, connected through here to this whole mess, which is connected through here to this mess, to this mess. So yeah, it's not really spaghetti, but it's also not really not spaghetti. You feel? You feel me here? So that's what we're working with. This is just, it's fine. It's fine. Little tiny storage here for lag, thank you. For paper, and I think everything has been assigned that I've put in here. My god, it's 48 minutes into the video, we haven't even started building yet. Well, I hope you like this. If you don't, also please tell me, because, look, this was going so much better in my head before I decided this was this is going to be a smart idea to do. How am I going to get down here at the end? Because I really should have a way to get down. Oh, and I already built all this. Okay. So I guess I'm going to have a staircase come down and then go around, which means this probably is going to have to look. Oh, nobody ever said it would be easy. What is that, a Coldplay song? Nobody ever said it would be this hard. Well, many of you probably did say it would be this hard, and I just ignored you. Or maybe I should listen to the voices every once in a while. So that'll just be that'll just be a staircase. Oh, around the outside. You know the drill. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But now now I need to add a walkway around the back here, so again, it's fine. Hey, remember when you said at the beginning of the episode this is going to be an improvement? Well, is it? Is it an improvement? Is it not an improvement? You decide. I think I know what your answers are going to be. It's like, you buffoon, you've completely screwed everything up. Yes, I know. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. What the... Oh, what did I do? What did I do, man? What did I do to cause this to be the best possible solution that we could get or arrive at here? Because I don't want to build up from this, but it probably should. Alright, no, you know what? You know what? Stop deleting things and just have them build it. Look. Well, alright, now you guys can tell whoever it is that you talk about your YouTube watching habits with. I just watched an idiot screw himself over playing the beaver game for an hour today, and then they're going to say, you know what, you have too much free time, and they're probably right. But now... oh my god, man. Oh no, now we can finally, mercifully, unpause after... How long did this take? put this on turbo speed, and we're just going to time-lapse this whole mess. All right, I'll see you guys on the other side as soon as they finish that. But while we're doing that, we do have to, I guess, talk about a couple other things. Now, this doesn't finish everything that we need to get done, but it is going to do a substantial amount of improvement, hopefully, to our industrial processes, make things a little bit more organized visually, and mainly clear up the space over here that we can do other stuff with. So there's going to be more that we have to do at this point, probably in the next episode. But we're going to see what this looks like when everything's all said and done, and hopefully be able to go from there. All right, so that took a long time. Like an hour in real life worth of building, but I believe all of the stuff is complete, minus all the garbage on the ground that has to get picked up. So what did we learn? We learned that I probably should not have even bothered doing this. And we lost 80 bots in the process of trying to get this done. I thought it was going to be a lot quicker, but it ended up absolutely not being quicker. But it's going. It's making stuff again, so I guess we have something to do for episode 39. trying to get stuff cleaned up. But again, we did reclaim a lot of space here that we can still do some other stuff with. We can clean various things up, like these little scrap metals here. These can go away. The pine resin, I unfortunately did not assign over here, but guess what? That's now going to be what this is. So get that out of there. We have all this space here that we really don't need to have these things in anymore. So we'll go ahead and just remove all of that stuff. And then, of course, we have stuff like platforms that can go away, stuff that can get picked up off the ground. We've got all of this mess, which we don't need this upward power shaft here. Don't need any of this stuff. So now we actually can, if we choose, completely uncover this little path here that the water takes out. I think that's going to look a little bit better. And then maybe find some other stuff to pop here. Of course, there's these overhangs that can be reclaimed. We have all this stuff just kind of chilling out in the middle of nowhere. This metal block storage also can go away. It looks like, we have plenty of space to store the rest of this stuff. And yeah, so it very obviously was some sort of an adventure that I probably, looking back, would not attempt again this late in the series, but hey, what can you do? There's not necessarily a whole lot of reward in just sticking with what you already know. Make mistakes, get messy, whatever the quote from the Magic School Bus is, if any of you remember that. I think somebody might have actually referenced it in a comment on another video, but suffice to say, we made mistakes, we got messy, we probably made things worse, but what matters is that we tried. So now that I've pumped this full of empty platitudes after displaying my ineptitude for an hour and 10 minutes or however long this is going to be, I appreciate you watching, Beard Boosters. Your support directly makes it possible for me to be stupid in these videos. Not intentionally, it just happens. Sorry to disappoint you, I don't plan to do this. It just turns out this way. But you're the reason why we can keep doing this, and why I don't have to go and do literally anything else instead of trying to pass this off as, like, oh, I know what I'm doing playing Timberborn, which clearly is not the case. But I still enjoy it. I'm glad you guys are sticking through this. We have a couple more episodes left, and then we're going to be finished with this playthrough, and then get into a couple of different things while we wait for Update 6 to hit the main branch. But that is all the time we got for this one. Again, sometimes you don't win. Sometimes stuff just happens, and you got to figure it out. But now that we have our bot assembly back up and running, they're creating them en masse once again. We'll get those numbers back up, we'll get things repopulated, and everything's going to be fine. What matters is that we tried. So whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we will see you in the next video. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.